What's going on, folks? Painless. My last video was flagged, interestingly enough. I spoke about all this hoopla about immigration and children being separated um, from their parents. And I said I was indifferent to it. I mean, it's off the cusp, on its face, to see a family ripped apart is unfortunate and troubling. But as I've said before, you know, looking at race, especially I've had a heavy dose of race in my life in terms I've dealt with so many different cultures. I've lived so many places where I was the super minority. I've had a chance to examine other groups, whereas many people haven't done that, at least that I know of. I've always said that when you're around black people all the time, or I shouldn't single out black folks. If you're around your own people every time, you kind of get kind of lackadaisical with race and understanding of other groups, and that'd be fine if you were in an environment where all you dealt with were your own. But I wouldn't say unfortunately, but I'm indifferent to this too. We live in a diverse society collectively, in general, in America. We have so many different ethnic groups and things like that. And it's not real conducive, especially in 2018, to be walking around saying you don't want to deal with this person or that person. Now, that doesn't say you don't want to exclusively deal with your own. That's the choice. But when you're talking about you're not going to do business with these people because of their religion or background or color, especially economically from an economical standpoint, um, you're losing out on so much potential clientele and profits. Now you can have a dating preference. That's fine. Um, I believe one should be naturally attractive to your own. You know, to sit for somebody for a Polish person to sit and say, "Oh, I don't find Polish women attractive," I would be beside myself. I would think that's very strange to me. Now there's preference, okay, um, but I'll delve into that here in a moment in this video. Uh, you know, maybe some of y'all that are around my age, I'm in my late 30s, and I watched some of the Kenny Anderson story. Some of y'all older heads out there remember Kenny Anderson, played for Georgia Tech back in the early '90s. Got drafted to the New Jersey Jets. That's when the New Jersey Nets, excuse me. That's when the Nets were in Jersey, not in Brooklyn. And he was a phenomenal player, you know. But he had some episodes in life, and um, he had a he didn't have a very so-called good career, and a lot of that was on his own accord for some personal decisions, choices that he made. Um, but I was watching his little documentary, and I didn't realize how many children he had. He had a child with Spinderella from Salt and Pepper. I didn't know that. He has a child from um, a Spanish female, and he has children from a white female. And when I was watching it, and him, especially his children, I think they were in their teens, late teens, maybe 15, 16. And this is the children, the sons he had from the Spanish female. And I was just, I when I was watching it, I can see how condescending his son was to him. And his son had to be 15, 16 years old. And then I could see the boyish demeanor that Kenny Anderson was demonstrating. Um, he was using certain vernacular. Your son, I'm fast. I was faster than you at your age, boy. And the son, you could tell he had little to no respect for him, and it was troubling to see, because it further stereotypes the black men and how we conduct business with our children, or the overall sense, or the overall stereotype of how we don't take care of our children. And it brings me to the point of this video, dealing with race. And maybe I've talked about dating and race and things like this. And, it's becoming very apparent every day dealing just with people in general as a black man, um, especially on dating sites. And people have spoken about this. I've watched a couple videos on YouTube where, how certain groups, especially Asian men and black men, tend to not do as well on dating sites. I know for me, in which I had to jump off of that, I've noticed that I've had a couple women that were fit, that were other backgrounds, send me occasional likes on photos and things like that. But I noticed a predominantly older, maybe 42 to 47, 48, older, heavier Hispanic and white women sending me likes and interest in messages. And I'm not saying I'm the best looking guy, but I wanted to those women because it clearly says, when I had my profile up that I work out 4+ days a week, and I clearly expressed that I'm seeking someone with those similar interests. And I would think, why would this woman, if, and that's the assumption, if she's read my profile, why would she send me a message and try to initiate some form of contact, unless she just wanted to be friends? And a lot of times I'm not even, I'm new to the area. I'm looking for women and men just to, do something with. And I think that's how we're moving in today's age. This is how people make friends. I can go out to a bar. On the same token, I can go to a bar and chop it up or strike a conversation with anyone that I deem fit, that who I want, that I want to speak to. But from what I've seen, this is how a lot of people make new acquaintances, associates, friends, whatever have you, online, dating online. And I've spoken about this in the past videos, especially after my divorce, that I jumped head first into online dating. And it was strange to me. It was strange. And even to this day, I find myself texting a lot more because that's how people like to communicate. Like I'm not a phone guy, and I don't really have. If I call you, it's because I really want to know something, or I really have something to say. I don't and I think this is just my opinion. I think men should be that way. Men shouldn't be on the phone all the time talking to another man, about some nonsense. If I'm on the phone with you, it's because I got something to say, or it's something I want to know from you, or there's some vital information that I need or I want to know. So, all this texting and stuff, especially I don't like texting guys for like 30, 20 minutes. It's like, all right, man, just call me and say what the hell you got to say. And I find that's the more accepted practice of communication when you're dealing with people from afar. So, um, but back to, and I brought up Kenny Anderson. Uh, I looked at, his various baby mamas, white, black, Spanish, and what one the his wife now is white, and he mentioned something about they was in the kitchen having a conversation, and she kind of said something slick like, "Well, you got 8 kids already," like real slick and condescending, like. And my thought was, well, shit, what the hell you get with them for? And this is why I say to men that if you have children, which is fine, don't let these women belittle you because you don't have kids with them yet or you have kids from a previous relationship, because that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. And I've talked about how us as black men, we get the stereotype. We pump and dump and we gone. But, a lot of men do that. You know, the thing with black, why we carry the target on our back as black men? And I've said this, that, we're the ones seen demonstrating some of the most this unbelievable physical, um, you know, things that I can't even think of a word. We're just demonstrating how physical we are in all forms of entertainment, especially sports. When's the last time you seen a standout Mexican football or basketball player? When last time you seen a Mexican running back truck three guys and run it in for a touchdown? When last time you seen a Mexican guy dunk? And we can even look at white guys too. Now, I would say that white guys do demonstrate some more physical attributes than I've seen with Mexican guys or something like that, Asian guys. But for the most part, and they're the dominant, there are more white people in America. But for all intents and purposes, for the most part, you see black men dominating physically. Now, I've spoken about, especially with black men, don't be confused because you can dunk this ball and run this pigskin for hundreds of yards. We know who really runs things. But see, the catch is those guys that are running multi-million, billion-dollar companies, they sit and watch Thursday night football, Monday night football, and in their minds, they wish they could do those things. And while they control the purse, they know that there's a potential threat. I mean, they know that their wife may be fantasizing about LeBron James. She may be fantasizing about Ezekiel Elliott from the Dallas Cowboys. It's always that threat. I've talked about this extensively in the gym. What I've when I've had little Filipino guys that are in there giving it their heart to lift certain amounts of weight. I mean, damn near about to snap some shit up. And here I'm doing it with relative ease. And then they're side-eyeing me. It's weird. And I'm not saying that I'm, this guy, but I've spoken about race. I think, there are some physical advantages that certain groups have over others. Not everyone, but in general. So I tie all this in to say that, especially with Kenny Anderson, it's be careful where you drop your seed at. There's, and I've spoken about men. When you have these children by these different groups of women, they ain't gonna see your black side for the most part. They're gonna be with their mama's side. And I've come to the point to where I've said, and many of y'all can attest to this. I've said this maybe 6 months ago that I prefer a black woman because it's easier. I'm done with the being that peculiar guy around a group of people who don't even look like me. And even though they still aren't white, and I would go so far to say now, for the most part, I think it's easier to deal with a white woman because while we may have little disagreements on politics and things like that, especially down south, white people eat greens down south, white people eat chitlins, hog maws, white people can make dressing. You know, if you're dating a Mexican woman or if you're dating a Filipino woman, they don't eat that stuff. Now, I think, like as I said, I would prefer a black woman, but I think it would be easier if I had no choice to date a white woman over a Mexican woman because I find that, especially since I'm in Texas, I find that a lot of Mexicans are racist. They are a lot, not all. And well, let me say, I can see that they're racist. Yeah, anybody, a lot of groups have the opportunity to be racist. But I think they prefer their own more. And I don't believe that there's any woman of another ethnic background to where I'm going to deal with a lot of accommodating for. That's exactly what I mean. That came out perfect. There is no woman that I'm willing to make any type of cultural accommodations for. Especially when I know the potentiality of that said family not being accepting. They may accept me, and this is where a lot of black folks get into trouble. Just because they accept you doesn't mean they accept people that look like you. My ex-wife, she had a friend. She dated nothing but black guys. Even had 2 babies by a black guy. But she had all types of shit to say about black women, and I had to check. I had to check my ex-wife on that. And she was up. And my ex-wife was like, "Yeah, I know it's messed up," but I just had to let her know that, that type of that doesn't make very good sense to me. See, a lot of these non-black women want the benefit of having a black man for a variety of reasons, but they don't want to deal with everything that comes with it. Me, I don't care to deal with any type of cultural accommodating for any woman anymore. because I see things for what they are now. You know, I'm not going to be that token sitting up in there on a Sunday having Sunday dinner with your family. And then some of them not accepting me, some of them, oh, he's okay. That's an awkward ass feeling. So this is why I've been really questioning interracial relationships these days. I'm too old to go and try to prove that I'm not like all the other black guys. I'm not doing that shit. I am not going through that. I am too old for. And most times, in my experience, I've had more going than most of their men. Than about 95% of their men, I had more going for myself. Especially, I had more going for myself. I know I will have going for myself. And you think I'm going to sit here and tap dance for your damn family? Shit, I don't think so. I ain't doing that. But, you gotta be careful. And, I've spoken about black and brown unity. Look, man, I'm okay with human unity, but I'm not down specifically for brown or Hispanic peoples. I'm indifferent to their problems. Indifference means I really don't care about what they have going on. It's indifferent. The only reason I mention it is for the purposes of this video. I don't talk about Hispanic problems because I don't. It's unfortunate, but I don't care. I really don't care. And I don't expect them to care about black problems. See, when you always, and what I see with a lot of black leaders, they want this coalition. Stop begging for a coalition. Stop begging people to be on your side that really don't care to be on our side. Act as if their problems do not exist. That's the best method I can think of. Now, do I have Hispanic friends? I got great Hispanic friends. And we don't even talk about stuff like this. They don't, and if it was, there's not really things they can say. Like when I was in Hawaii, I was indifferent to Hawaiian problems, meaning I didn't get in their business because it was not a dog. I didn't have a dog in that fight. The only reason I was concerned or even was in the mix is because my ex was of that ethnic group. But I was indifferent. Now, I could have had, me and my ex didn't have children. Now, that could have changed the game. Because my children now are of that ethnic background. But you know what I just did? That all brings it back down to what I said. I prefer a black woman. See, I don't want to be around a group of people, and I've seen that plenty of times. I've seen brothers deal with different ethnic groups of women, and I've known how these ethnic groups feel about black folks. And now his ass is mixed up in their struggle and trying to be an additional voice for them. Not painless. Nope. And it's awkward. And that same example I had given on a video some months ago about if you were, imagine this, if you had your white girlfriend or wife and you up there with all her uncles and brothers and dad and they're Trump this, Trump that, build that wall, he shouldn't have resisted. How are you going to feel? That same example can be given to a damn Um, Puerto Rican, black man, a group of Cambodians, because they are, some of them may be sensitive to what people like you go through, but the majority are not. It's easier to deal with your own, man. That's just my opinion. I think it's easier. Um, it just is. Doesn't mean you have to dislike other groups. But I find that a lot of people that choose not to deal with black men, like a certain group of women, ethnic group of women, it's because of stereotypical purposes, which is which is really asinine, really surface, really fake. Where I choose not to deal with them because we won't have anything really in common when it really comes down to it. And then if you're going to deal with a woman interracially, you make her bend to your culture, your ways. But you must have a set form of values and norms that are conducive to being productive in society. I don't want a black acting white chick. To me, they're the worst. I don't want a I don't want that type of female, Vietnamese or Mexican or Puerto Rican talking black. I don't want that shit. I can't stand women like that. But I'm gonna cut this video painless out.